that comment? That's pretty rude. Like the guy goes, it's tango, it's not kung fu. That's kind of screwed up, man.
So starting this channel, it's made me realize just where our place is and whether or not, it does dancing really transcend the identity of whoever is doing it. And I'm not sure, like as two Asian Americans, as we stand here talking about Argentine tango that's spoken or sang in a different language than English of what we speak and other languages as well, it kind of makes me think like, no matter what we do, we're always going to be
Like a second-class citizen?
like forever foreign, like the forever foreigner thing. Like no matter what we do, like for example, my family came to America during the gold rush. Well, half of my one side of mine did, the other side a little bit after it. But I'm fifth generation American, and my family came here in the late 1800s, mid to late 1800s. Which means I've been here longer than a lot of the Americans that you'll talk to. My family has been in America longer than those people, but because of the way I look and the face that I have, they will never look at me like I am pure American, even though I've been here longer than most of them have.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's the sad thing. No matter how long we dance Argentine tango, no matter how much we look into the history of the dance, no matter how much we try to take lessons or seek out the truths of Argentine tango, there's always going to be a pretty significant amount of people that'll look at us and like, you're not qualified to talk about Argentine tango. And so it does kind of hit you in a certain way.
Yeah, it does. I mean, going with the whole like American thing is also kind of funny because, I was born here. I was like, my parents came over in 1975 after the fall of Vietnam. But for me, I was born here. When I went to school, it's kind of funny. Like I grew up on Sesame Street, and I still got put in the ESL.
What?
Yeah, I got put in the ESL.
Really?
Because like my grandma would pick me up and she was speaking Vietnamese to me and like, oh, like English is not your first language. Like I spoke English just as well as the next kid. But I got through the ESL, and that's why. But I didn't think of anything of it when I was a kid.
Of course not.
I was just like, oh, great, I get to hang out with all my Japanese friends. No, that's what I was thinking. Like I didn't know any better. So
yeah, of course.
So from like grade 1 to grade 3, I was in ESL.
Okay.
And I didn't get into normal English until maybe like fourth grade, and that's I mean, didn't stunt my education, but at the same time, it's like really,
Yeah.
That kind of sucks. And as for tango, I should say tango, but I mean, I guess it doesn't bother me as much, but also at the same time, it doesn't bother me in the grand scheme of things, but it does bother me when someone who just started tango and just because they're Argentine, it's like they're more authentic. I'm like, dude, the guy's been only dancing for 6 months. 12 years, 6 months.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? Oh, but he was born with tango in his veins. I'm like, you gotta be joking me. Like, seriously? It's something like that. It's just, I've been fighting this kind of stuff for a while, and a lot of you don't know this, but I used to work at a sushi bar for a long time, and one of those things that really kind of ticked me off was one of our best chefs was an El Salvadorian guy, and he went out and he was at the he wasn't the head chef, but he was a really good chef that he was in front of the bar, and I remember these guys came out. It's like, we're here to order sushi, not tacos. And I was like, come on, really?
Wow.
Like, the guy cuts as well as as the next person. Like, these things can be learned. And, a lot of things that I did, it kind of transcended our heritage at home. you know. And I say heritage at home, not like our identity, because that's to me like those are it's a identity is a touchy subject because
It is.
you know like you know I identify as American like but my heritage at home is something different, you know.
Sure.
So it's yeah. But anyway, it's stuff like that I've battled through uh, that I've definitely witnessed and I've stuck up for other people. Like this guy has a right to be in at the sushi bars just like as the next person. I mean, come on. And you know, a lot of arts that I've done like karate, you know, judo. It's like they don't care if you're Japanese or not. You know, it's like as long as you do and as long as you like respect the art and you perform well, like no one cares. Like it's very egalitarian. So like, why isn't tango egalitarian sometimes? You know, it's like I wonder about that.
It's true. It's only been since we've started this channel that I've noticed because we're so accustomed to people knowing who we are, knowing our backstory. And now we're in a platform where there's going to be a good amount of people that don't know who we are and just gonna watch one of our videos and just make their own assumptions based on what they see for the first time.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we just get judged by that. So it reminds me of the first time I DJ'd in San Diego, and the first time I was there, I went with Rochelle, and I was DJing. And I remember going into there, and there was like a large contingent of just Argentinians and just, you know, and we were like the only Asian faces. And I was going up to the DJ booth, and they're like, they all had this look of like, this is the DJ? Like, do you even know tango music? They're like, what are you gonna play? And like they're asking me all these really basic questions.
Like they're just grilling you, giving like
Yeah.
it's like your interview before you even get on stage.
Yeah.
It's like he's not qualified.
And so I felt that. I feel that. And because I came in thinking that, you know, tango is such a worldwide thing, right? It's it's such a global thing. There's tango dancing like in many places. But then to think that yes, there is an origin, and yes, there is a culture behind it, and yes, I respect it, and yes, I try to learn more and more about it. It's kind of sad where I feel like there is kind of maybe like a glass ceiling of where we can get. It's like you can only do so much, and even still there, people are gonna just look at you as like a foreigner.
Yeah.
You're non-Argentinian, sorry.
Yeah.
No matter how well you dance, no matter how good your embrace feels, no matter how musical you are, that's still not the thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you on this, and I feel it too. But also at the same time, I think it's just the issue is change. And what I mean is, a lot of people they're not comfortable with change, you know. And is it necessarily our image? I don't think it's necessarily our image. I think a lot of times people will act out on our image, say like that comment about kung fu and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is funny because like I'm not Chinese and never have Chinese, but either which way, what I mean is, you know, when Chicho first came out, and I'm not saying we're Chicho. We're not that. But I'm saying when Chicho first came out, everyone's like, "Oh, that's so ugly. What is that?" You know, and also the same thing with Juan Carlos Copes when he was doing these tango shows. Like, you know, they're telling him it's terrible, it's horrible. Like he's throwing dirt on tango and everything. So in a sense, it's until you become really, really successful, then you're accepted. It wasn't until like, you know, that documentary that Chicho comes out, it's like, oh, well, now you love me, now I'm a maestro, you know? And sometimes it feels like maybe it's not necessarily our identity, but it's the issue of change. Like we represent change, and they're not ready for change yet. And until we become like ballers of some sort, you know, then it's like, oh, maestros, how you know? I mean, I don't, not like I'm looking for a title of maestro, but I feel like it's the same issue. It's the change of the guard, or we represent what is like the change that is coming, and maybe that's it. You know, I mean, I guess maybe that's why I tell myself to sleep at night. Maybe you know, I mean, you know, it's tough because sometimes like if you start like splitting hairs about what is it? Is it the race thing? Is it the age thing? Is it we go down a rabbit hole, and all you do is you just get angry. I get angry, you know. And but I think it's easier just to say to chalk it up to change and the apprehension to change.
But I think like, I don't know, like just there are some people that I know that I can guarantee you that if they were like of a different heritage or origin, they'd probably be in a bigger platform than they are.
Yeah, probably.
You know, it's kind of like how I feel like sometimes at the local Malongas. Shout out to the organizers. They actually now finally kind of say my name for like teachers that are in the building. But for many years, like I've been teaching since like 2014.
Really?
Or 15.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while, and I've had weekly. It's not like I don't have weekly classes, and I teach at some of the most prominent places in LA. And I felt like I always get left out of like the people that teachers or the teachers in the building to like some visiting Argentine that's like just passing by for a weekend. Shout out to them, like, and I'm just sitting over there. It's like, yeah, Derek teaches every week, and somehow I never get mentioned in the announcements, right?
Yeah, but.
And so I wonder if that is because I am Asian American, right?
You know, that's a possibility. I'm not ruling out that possibility.
Yeah.
But I'll say it with this one because we're all friends and everything, and
Yeah.
we're friends with all these organizers.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it really is just that it's the whole marketing thing. Like, you know, I mean, yes, you're a teacher.
Yeah.
But you know, you don't really go out and like shove it in people's faces all the time.
That's true.
Just kind of like you know, when you're DJing, so many people didn't know you were DJing for the longest time. They're like, oh, I just know Derek the Dancer.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So I think part of it is self promotion, and that's something that you know everyone can be a little better at. But so I'm going to chalk it up to that because these are our friends who are organizers, and like I don't think they mean anything by it.
I mean, like, I feel welcomed in general from just, like, you know, all my Argentinian friends and these kind of things. I feel like I am part of the club, per se. But I don't know, just sometimes it's those oddball comments from people that don't know me. It's kind of like, is this, like, the real truth that, like, people aren't saying, like, but really think behind my back?
Yeah. Or also, like, there's a whole, like, you know, the one that really gets to me is, like, if I got invited to like who gets invited to the Argentine barbecue? I mean, like, it's like, come on, really? You know, but I get it. Sometimes it's just like, hey, you know, it's a cultural thing. Like they click with them culturally a lot more.
Sure, of course.
But sometimes it's like, dude, the guy just got here. You know, and that's that used to bother me, but now it's like, yeah, whatever. I mean, I guess I just kind of accepted it now. You know, I remember there's a really good friend of mine. Yeah, he's no longer. He used to say things like, you know, I'm just a tourist in Tango.
Sure.
And you know, people will ask me things, and like he'll also say things like, you know, they're always dividing, like like it's first it's like, are you South American or not? Then it's like are you Argentine or not? And then it was, are you from Buenos Aires or not? And then if you're from Buenos Aires, what do you like?
What body are you?
Yeah, are you a real porteño or not? You know, like if you're from the rich suburbs, like nah, you're not real tango. You know,
Yeah.
So I think everyone goes through that because people need to feel like they're more authentic in either way, and I don't know. I think I've stopped trying. I mean, I try to be like be authentic to tradition as much as possible.
Yeah.
As much as I know, and granted, I don't know enough.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's almost like I stopped caring about. Like this title of authenticity because it's almost like, you know, I'll never be authentic.
But it's funny because we don't do this in other things, like you said. It's like we don't question, is that real basketball? Like, you know, like no, that's not real basketball. Or that's not real rap. No, I'll show you what real rap is, you know?
Yeah.
And these are all cultural things.
Yeah, but I hate to say it, I kind of do it with food. No, that's true. Like, because like, you know, I mean,
Well, some people would argue it's food culture. Some people would argue that food isn't culture. Food is just based on your geographical location. Like
Yeah.
You have the resources around you, and so that's why you eat the food that you do. You're next to an ocean, that's why you have fish as part of your diet.
No, I mean, okay, we live in LA.
Yeah.
LA is really diverse in terms of, we have a lot of ethnicities, we have a really diverse food culture here.
Of course, we have the best food to me. And
Yeah, but what I mean is, okay, let's say we go out for pho, right?
Yeah.
And there are things I look for, like if it's an A-rated like place, I'm like, I don't know, you know.
Gotta be C.
It's gotta be B or C, you know. You got like the tables, like if the tables are super clean, like
You're like, this
no,
is
I
not
don't know.
good. This is not good.
But then it's like, okay, make me a really good place, but then it's almost like, you know, I'll catch myself making certain comments where it's like, oh, this is like white person pho, you know, or and I don't mean that to be disparaging or anything.
Yeah.
But it's just more like it's more like the taste is geared more towards
like mild.
well, it's like not necessarily, it's not geared towards a Vietnamese taste bud, but more like
Americanized.
Yeah, Americanized, and I get it because even if it happens with Indian food and Italian food, it's a little more sweeter. It's a little more, you know, because like that's the audience they're going for. And I totally get it, but then it's also like, you know, I'll go to Santa Barbara and I'm like, oh, hey, they have a pho place, cool. I go there, I'm like, oh, great, I paid white people prices for white people pho, and like, you know, so in a sense, I kind of say that, and I get that too. So. But that's a little different. I'm still willing to give it a shot. I'm willing to give it a shake, which I think that's a little different from how I feel about a lot of people. It's just more the image. It's like at least I tasted the pho before, you know. Like even if I saw like, oh, it's an A-grade restaurant, I still ate the pho just before I made my remarks, you know.
Yeah.
And I feel like.
I think we got to just live with the fact that people are always going to use ad hominem, right? They're always going to attack the person without knowing who they are, just based on the. It's the easiest thing to do, right?
Yeah, but it's also like, why? Like, I mean, like, does it make them feel better? Like, why? Like, you know, like it's a little different if it's like, oh, hey, I'm a tango teacher. Let's knock these guys down a peg because I'm trying to promote myself. Mm-hmm. Okay, I get that, right? Mm-hmm. But sometimes it just feels like there's no reason to do it, but they do it.
Well, you disparage somebody else to make yourself feel better about yourself.
Yeah.
You point out someone's weakness or whatever. Abnormality, and it makes you feel like you're normal.
Yeah, I guess. But I guess it just comes off a little petty to me.
It is petty.
All right.
But you know, the online community we know is very petty.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
It's the pile on. We live in a society of pile on where people just see something and then that's the after effect is everyone just kind of just jumps on and it becomes worse.
All right. So how do we get around this? Like, is there a way to like fight the pile on? I mean, without being like aggressive. You know, it's like, hey, like shove it, you know, whatever. All right. I mean, do we need to go around just be like, hey, just kick rocks, like we don't care, you know? Or like, what is there like a middle ground? So it's like, I mean, can't we just like? I mean, I don't want to do the whole like, can't we all just get along?
Just positive over here.
I'm trying to be positive. I'm really trying to be positive, man.
The thing is that there's some people out here that just love to troll. It's the reason why prank videos exist. It's the reason why that people just like to troll the greatest thing. People don't like when everyone's in agreement with one thing. There's always got to be a couple of people that go against the grain. Mm-hmm. And so I don't think, no matter what you do, there's always going to be people that just love to bash on that. Everyone's like, oh, I love that restaurant. There's going to be one person that says, that place sucks, just because they want to be different.
You'd be a contrarian?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So.
It's a bit disappointing, but I guess it's the society we live in, you know?
It is. We unleashed the Pandora's box of social media, and so now we got to reap what we sow, right?
Yeah, but also it's like locally, you know. Do you feel more? I mean, I feel online a lot, but I mean, in terms of locally, do you feel it locally like the ad hominem attacks, the whole?
No, I feel like if anyone says anything, it's usually behind your back.
Yeah, but don't you still feel like an undercurrent somewhere, like you know, like yeah, they're not willing to say it to my face. So you know, do you still? I mean, there's that little paranoia there.
I mean, since we've done this podcast, I think 95% of our interactions have been positive.
Yeah.
Maybe even more than that.
Yeah.
And there might be some people that have an undercurrent of negativity. They just don't want to say it to our face. for some of the topics we've touched upon and some of the things we've said. But nonetheless, I think everything that we've said for the most part has been from the heart and what we've experienced and just our own kind of thoughts and reflections on what we think is happening or not. And so, we can only say what our truth is, right?
Yep, definitely. Well, I think for all of that, we should really just say, hey, everyone out there who's just watching and listening, thank you for all being very supportive. And I get it, we're focusing on a small minority that's just grinding on us. But at the same time, it's
the small minority always rises. So it's the reason why when people look at Yelp reviews, they always look at the negative ones instead of the million positive ones.
Yeah, but I still want to just shout out to everyone being very positive and supportive of us. And I think it's I'm trying to focus on the positive. But like I said, like you said, it's just that nature. God damn it, It's
as much as you want to say it doesn't affect you, it you remember it.
Yeah. So anyway.
But thanks for all the support, and let us know what you feel about this whole situation. About if you're non-Argentinian, especially, how you feel about representing this cultural dance that you do and practice, and whether you feel like you're representing the culture responsibly or not. We would like to know in the comments. But thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Left Foot, Right Foot. Don't forget to click the subscribe button and notification bell to keep up to us and our latest content.
Yeah, it really goes a long way. We've come a long way so far, and we really appreciate everyone's support in helping us grow this channel and all supporting our lifelong path of really getting social dancing out there and allowing other people to find their way to Argentine Tango.